All right. Hi, guys. I'm Sean. This is Alyssa.
Gus is in our hearts.
And this is in our Rabbit Hole Daily. And we're back checking out some current events, something that's happening right now as we speak. That's right. Billionaire Gautam Adani loses more than $60 billion this year following fraud allegations. So I knew that Mr. Adani, is that how you say it? It was in the news for some sort of shenanigans that were going on. Now, this isn't the first time we've heard of this individual. Of course, he's one of the world's richest men, so there's
like
that.
The fourth richest. They said the fourth richest person in the world.
And then I was reading something where maybe he was the second richest for a while. And because there is sort of this thing that happens where, Jeff Bezos is here and then someone else is over there. So they do sort of trade spots every now and then. But we knew that this guy was one of the richest people in the world. We watched a couple of videos on India's richest entrepreneurs. His name came up along with the Ambani family. And we know that there's something going on, but we don't really have any idea as to what's going on other than something that's caused him to lose more than $60 billion. So we're going to find out here with a video from Forbes. It just came out within the last day. So
15 hours ago it says, but
I was going to say 15 hours ago. But yeah, by the time this gets posted, maybe like 25 hours ago. But there you go.
Gautam Adani is the chairman of the Adani Group. It's an Indian conglomerate that has interests in nearly every sector of the Indian economy, from ports and shipping to media, construction, and energy. Adani was originally a college dropout. His dad ran a textile shop, but he spurned his father's footsteps and launched his own commodities export firm. And over the last 3.5 decades, Adani has expanded his business interests through savvy deal-making, as well as by cultivating ties with Narendra Modi, India's prime minister and former chief minister of Gujarat, an Indian state where Adani made his fortune.
Okay, that was fast. Like, okay, what did they say it was exactly again? Like resources... something. It was just like his dad had done.
His dad was working in a textile shop or had a textile business, and he decided not to follow in his father's footsteps.
How did he get so rich though?
Yeah, they were mentioning that. I'm trying to think the term here. Let's go back here just a little bit. Commodities export.
Commodities.
Adani was originally a college dropout. His dad ran a textile shop, but he spurned his father's footsteps and launched his own commodities export firm.
He just launched his own commodities export firm.
Yeah.
Did his dad have enough money that he could invest in that?
Yeah, they do kind of gloss over a few things.
He's got no experience. Like, it's like, okay, his dad did textiles, but he didn't want to do that. And
so he started his own commodities
firm. And now he's like a billionaire. I don't understand it. Well, we did want to watch a separate video from this of, like, this is about the controversy, so they're not going to go into detail.
All the details, that's right. Yeah.
But we want to watch something about more of his upbringing or how he became so rich.
Now, we got a little bit of something on your lip there. Let me just...
Don't be rough. What? There's always something. The last reaction, you're like, oh, something on your teeth.
You got a little something in your teeth. Maybe.
It probably won't even show on camera.
Okay, all right. Well, there you go. Now it definitely won't show on camera because we got rid of it there.
You always have like fluff.
Well, then help me out. If I got fluff and hairs, then
sometimes it
make
gets
me look
annoying.
good.
I know the fluff's not going to show on camera.
All right, okay.
Over the last 3.5 decades, Adani has expanded his business interests through savvy deal-making, as well as by cultivating ties with Narendra Modi, India's
through
prime
fraud
minister and former
that we're
chief
learning.
Minister of Gujarat, an Indian state where Adani made his fortune. At the peak of Adani's net worth, which was just in December, Forbes valued him at around $135 billion, making him the third richest person in the world at the time.
Third at the time.
In 2022 alone, Adani gained $50 billion to his net worth.
Ooh.
Even while other stocks fell, all the Adani Group companies did well.
Dang. COVID was very kind to them.
Alleges in a stunning 32,000-word report that the Adani Group has been engaged in a decades-long stock manipulation and accounting fraud designed to enrich themselves, the Adani principals, at the expense of outside shareholders.
Well, they can manipulate the stock
Hindenburg's
some ways.
report, the Adani Group has lost over $100 billion in market
report.
value, a stunning collapse over a period of just 8 or 9 days. Some of the key allegations made by Hindenburg are: 1, that Adani has enlisted a vast network of allies and offshore proxies to hold stock in his publicly listed companies. The purpose of this maneuver, Hindenburg alleges, is so that Adani can skirt Indian regulations that require any publicly traded firm to have at least 25% of its float, meaning 25% of all outstanding stock, held by non-promoters, people who are not employed by or affiliated with the Adani Group. Hindenburg homed in
Having
on
people in there pretending that they're not affiliated with Adani,
Yeah, I
but they
think
are.
so. I think that's what they're saying there.
It's hard to regulate those things sometimes for a
Yeah,
while, but then
yeah.
eventually comes out.
Vinod Adani, his brother, who specifically manages a labyrinth of offshore shell entities, many of them registered in Mauritius. Secondly, Hindenburg alleges that the Adani Group uses offshore entities and
Sorry for pausing so much, but got comments to make. So his brother, who was sort of someone he had placed, like that's kind of a dumb move. He's still got the same last name and everything.
I think they're going to explain maybe more what's going on here. But I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I was like, well, why would he be so obvious about it?
Hindenburg homed in on Vinod Adani, his brother, who specifically manages a labyrinth of offshore shell entities, many of them registered in Mauritius. Secondly, Hindenburg alleges that the Adani Group uses offshore entities and proxies to move money around between the Adani Group's various subsidiaries. Hindenburg alleges the purpose of this is to misconstrue the actual state of the various Adani companies' finances. Now, Hindenburg presented several examples of offshore shells sending money through onshore private Adani companies onto the listed public companies, seemingly for the purpose, according to Hindenburg, of engineering Adani's accounting, such as bolstering its reported profit and cash flows, and cushioning its capital balances, and essentially making these entities seem more creditworthy than they actually are, which is a key part of how Adani has grown, is by issuing vast amounts of debt. It has about $20 billion in net debt. The Adani Group has denied Hindenburg's report, calling it a malicious combination of selective misinformation
So they're coming out swinging.
Adani has also said that its financial practices and intercompany dealings are in line with applicable accounting standards and applicable law.
Please smash that subscribe button and hit that bell.
I think in the US and Europe, the reaction was by and large one of shock. Investors and business people have been aware of the Adani Group and of its meteoric rise over the last few years.
Waiting to fall.
Most were ignorant to some of the accounting irregularities, extreme debt loads, and other questionable corporate governance matters that were bubbling under the surface. In India, meanwhile, the Hindenburg allegations were shocking but less surprising. That's because India's Securities and Exchange Board, its main financial regulator, has investigated companies under the Adani Group umbrella previously. Those investigations did not find evidence of any wrongdoing.
But this Hindenburg person just blew it up.
A diverging opinion among the broader public. On the one hand, there are those who identify with the Adani Group's embrace of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Indian nationalism, a theme that the Adani Group has turned to during this difficult period. But there are plenty of others, such as members of the media, intellectuals, lawyers, the like, who have been criticizing the Adani Group and its business practices for a while now. They're using the Hindenburg allegations and the international attention those allegations have drawn to press for action from India's financial regulator.
They're like, this is our time
Adani
to
has cultivated allies, not just
get
at
this
home,
stuff
but also
exposed,
abroad.
really.
We saw this on display just last week when one of his companies, Adani Enterprises, was trying to push through a $2.5 billion stock sale. This sale was thrown into question by Hindenburg's report, with there being fewer subscribers to the stock. But we saw Abu Dhabi come to the rescue with a $400 million injection of capital on January 31st. This ultimately wasn't enough to prevent the collapse of the stock sale, which the Adani Group abruptly and somewhat mysteriously canceled the following day. But also last week, we saw Gautam Adani in Israel shaking hands with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for the ceremonial signing of the Adani Group's takeover of the Haifa port, Israel's largest port. So just due to the sheer size and scale of the Adani Group's enterprise, it does have allies abroad.
Yeah, no kidding.
Whose goodwill and whose financial clout might prove dire for the Adani Group.
Yeah, and whose very livelihood might depend on this guy
on the one hand,
doing what he's doing.
Delegations haven't done much to affect Adani Group companies. The ports are still receiving ships. Energy companies are still producing energy. On the other hand, the Hindenburg allegations have really upended the Adani Group's financial picture. The stocks have crashed, which means Adani personally is less wealthy.
No longer.
But more critically for the businesses themselves, banks such as Citigroup have already said they're no longer going to be accepting Adani stock as collateral.
Everyone's pulling out. Just for having his sort of image turn, or like, even if it say it wasn't even true, even just like public perception that his company is not doing well is like in debt. No one's going to want to invest in them anymore.
There's too many uncertainties.
It's like a public smear already that it doesn't even have to be true for it to be like the downfall.
It sounds like it is, right? It sounds like there's all sorts of indications.
But it doesn't even have to be.
I hear what you're saying.
But obviously, like why it's gaining this attention would be there's got to be truth to it. If it was complete bogus, then it wouldn't matter. But they've pulled up these numbers or this information that report.
And it sounds like this has been a pattern of behavior that goes back decades. Like when I first heard of this, I was thinking, okay, well maybe there's this one shady thing that occurred, but no, it sounds like there's actually it's a pattern of behavior across the entire enterprise, sort of poisoning all the different assets or aspects of his business here.
Well, yeah, now people know like Adani, sketchy.
They're going to associate that name with not so good stuff.
It's going to get worse and worse and worse because it started and now it's going to be a bit of a domino effect with all their investors.
Citibank is pulling out.
Because they can't trust.
Yeah.
The Adani Group depends on loans as part of its growth strategy, and it's a highly leveraged business. So we could see this affects the company's financial picture.
Well, yeah.
Similarly, the Adani Group has already faced margin calls on loans that it has outstanding, for which it's posted Adani company stock as collateral because of the collapse in price.
I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure what that graph represents, but I know that going down is not good.
Red line down,
red line
bad.
going down, not so good.
But I think he's just, what did he just, I'm just so tired. It's like late and I hardly slept last night. I knew what he was saying, and now I forget what he was even
We'll go back a smidge. Yeah. All right.
For which it's posted Adani company stock as collateral. Because of the collapse in price of that stock, it's going to have to post more collateral on those loans. Going forward, the markets are going to be keeping a close...
I don't know. It's just basically, it's just not looking good.
Not looking good.
They just don't have like a fund that, like it just seemed like they were like living off the debt. It reminds me of
the Big Short or whatever.
Big Short, yeah. Okay. The stock market crashed.
I won't even pretend to understand the particulars, but clearly this Hindenburg Group has unveiled a lot of.
It's like when you don't even have your own
issues here.
When you don't really have your own maybe equity in a way, you would say like they're literally, well, that's how banks run. Like it's not like the banks necessarily like have the money at the time.
They're sort of borrowing our money in order to Jeez.
But then when the banks, like, I don't know, when the economy crashes, like in Greece, it's like people couldn't even get money from the ATM machine. Yeah. And that's when you know it's bad.
Yeah, that's when troubles.
Well, because it's not really a real thing. Because imagine if like everyone went and took their money out of the bank at the exact same time.
Impossible. Yeah.
They wouldn't have the money at the time. That's right. So it's not even real that they actually like.
Better not to think about this too much. It'll just stress you out. Yeah.
Eye on the Adani Group's existing debt pile, but also they're going to be keeping an eye on India's political situation and whether financial regulators in India start to investigate the Adani Group.
And they probably should, because they want to protect India's reputation as a good place to invest, right? They don't want this guy's reputation to take down India, or to leave a bad taste in people's mouth when it comes to India more generally, right?
Yeah, if they're smart about it, then I just don't think there is any benefit to Modi not
investigating this to the fullest extent. Absolutely.
It's just not helping India to rely on a company that can't be reliable.
That's right. Yeah. No, it's definitely
doesn't have the funds.
That's the thing that I'm sort of most fearful for. Isn't for him and his specific businesses, but for India as a whole. That this doesn't have any long-lasting ramifications for them in terms of like foreign investments. So now we did notice that there was a Think School video. It was how long? Like 30 minutes or something like that. So
but that one, it was posted a few days ago.
Only a couple days ago. So there might.
Don't know if things have really evolved.
Yeah.
Like this is a newer video, so I don't know if they're just readdressing it here. It's just kind of hasn't evolved much since that Think School video. And is it going to be like older?
Well, I'm kind of curious to know a little bit more about this Hindenburg group that they were referencing. Maybe you guys can let us know a little bit in the comments there what that's all about, and why they decided to investigate the Adani group, and how that sort of came, or Adani group.
Yeah, like if it had been, like how long had this sort of been going on for? Because they were talking about the people that were saying this was kind of going on, but no one was really taking it super serious until this report came out.
Yeah,
because people
this
were
Hindenburg report
complaining about the issues and fraud, but then until this report, so it's like, why now?
No, I thought when I first, because I've seen a few sort of video thumbnails for this, and we chose to watch this one, but ones that reference the Hindenburg group. Now I thought this was called the Hindenburg controversy, so crash and burn like the Hindenburg, but that wasn't the case. I thought that's what they were sort of calling this particular scandal, but it turned out, of course, that this is the actual group that revealed all of this information. So
you didn't think it was the Adani?
Well, I thought it was the Adani group, but I thought they were calling it like the Hindenburg scandal, which maybe they are, because it's the Hindenburg group that revealed it.
You thought that the Hindenburgs were in on it?
Well, if you don't know, the Hindenburg was that big blimp that crashed and burned back in the day.
Oh,
anyways, it's all right.
Fun of me
don't worry about it.
When was that?
It was a big blimp, and it sort of caught fire, and it's this would have been like Second World War.
Well before
before your time. That's right.
It's historical fact.
Yeah.
You like to, I know off camera you're going to be making fun of me for not knowing that, but you are 10 years older than me. I don't know all the references of everything, or what I learned in social studies is probably a little bit different.
That's right. Learned. But there you go. Alyssa's getting cranky. It's way past her bedtime.
It's ringing a little bit of a bell, something to do with a blimp blowing up.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Stop.
I wasn't saying anything.
So righteous, and
I knew.
You think you're so superior because
it wasn't like a hydrogen blimp or something.
He's so annoying. To this day, he just has to be the holder of information.
That's right.
He can't. It's been a thing lately where we've been trying to have a little bit of a digital detox, because he has to be knowing what's going on
every minute of the day,
all the time, constantly. He wakes up, he has anxiety about it.
Yeah, I gotta see what Prince Harry's up to.
It's no, I can't visit, with my partner and talk about I gotta scroll and know what's going on.
Celebrities are up to.
And so everything, I'll be like, oh, did you hear about this?
Yeah, I already heard
celebrity news, whatever stuff.
Yeah, I knew that.
Or this happened, or this political thing. Yeah, it's always yep. Oh, yeah, read that
Been there.
this morning.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's old news. I found out this morning.
It's so annoying that he knows everything. I can't tell him I can't be like, oh, did you hear about this? It's
so there you go, folks. Like
Sean's
I said,
really annoying.
I'm the most annoying person in the entire world. I'm so annoying. This is how I react.
Past her bedtime.
And
let's do the sign off.
No one saw the end of Kantara. Our Kantara. It's our last video. Well, I don't know what order we're gonna post. We did a video called Foreigners Try and Understand Kantara, and at the end I impersonated Sean because he wasn't around. He didn't want to film the outro that I needed to film with me, but it seems like no one saw it.
Holy hell. So that was Alyssa's long way of saying she made fun of me in a video, and maybe we'll put that link in the description.
Because people didn't really know about it, and it was like the end of the video, so whatever. I'm tired. Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. We love you a whole lot. This is Internet Rabbit Hole Daily.
Stop. What was that comment? Didn't someone say, hey, Sean, don't like roll your eyes at Alyssa when she doesn't know?
Yeah, it's sort of like don't get upset if she needs to rewind and see things more than once. So, and I didn't bother you once here. You paused and rewound several times.
I see you in my peripheral vision. I just know if I take longer than like a second to say a word, like. I see you like I can't even talk without. It's like I see you just being so annoyed. Like everything doesn't need to be so sped up and talking like this and so like overly enthusiastic, and it's like you're like. It's like you've been hit with like.
I thought you were tired. You were a bit Miss Cranky Bones a couple minutes ago. And now you're all. It's like you've been jacked up.
It's like you're shocked with like electricity or something, and it's like.
Yeah, I'm having a good time.
It's the buzz from like all the caffeine you drink.
What can I say?
And you can't handle someone not talking like at the speed of light. I can't. It's like if I collect my thoughts or think about a thing, like you're just rolling your eyes.
Oh shit!
Haha, wrong one. Other wrong one. Wrong. Are you serious?
All right, folks.
That was it. Bye.
Love ya.
They're laughing at you.
Fuck me.